Welcome back to the channel, y'all. YuYu Hakusho live action. We got some action. We got some joints. Now we're gonna talk about it. I want to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays for everybody that does celebrate the holidays around this time. I haven't uploaded in a while, so I wanted to make sure everybody enjoy their Christmas and the other holidays as well. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about YuYu Hakusho and basically the live action. Basically, we're going to give you a review of it because, if you've been to this channel, you know that this is my favorite anime of all time. And watching live action, I was happy to see Yusuke and the boys again. And I thought the show as a whole was pretty decent. Nothing too crazy. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad, I would call the show mid, but I know some of y'all on TikTok and all that culture, you guys use that word differently now. Mid's basically bad at this point. But, the original meaning of mid, I think this epitomizes that. It did a lot of things right and a lot of things wrong. And as a YuYu Hakusho fan, like I said before, is excited to see what these people got to offer us, long-term YuYu Hakusho fans who basically got nothing out of that show in a long time until recently. It definitely didn't disappoint. I was excited. I was happy with what I saw, but it could have been better. It was very messy. So we're gonna go over some things and review the show. So we're finally able to see our boys in Sarashiki again, the homeland of where YuYu Hakusho takes place. And, it was good to see all the characters again, and I think the show did a pretty good job portraying them. Yusuke's demeanor was pretty accurate to the anime. The actor for them, I don't know his name, I gotta find it, but I'll put it on the screen. He did a great job acting as Yusuke. They got the characters down to the bone. Same with Koenma, same with Botan, same with Kurama, Keiko. He could have probably been a little bit better. I feel like his demeanor was just so, his acting was a little meh. I know he is not really that much of an expressive person in the anime anyways, but for me, I felt like he was a little closed off, and it might just be the way they wrote the character, but I don't know. Nothing too crazy, nothing bad, it's just, I feel like he could have done a little bit better. But when it comes to the standout character of the show, I'm gonna say Kuwabara. Kuwabara was by far the best adaptation from the anime to the show. The one that felt the most natural to the actual character. It's surprising to me because if you guys watched my preview of the show, I guess, my reaction to the live action, I did say Kuwabara was looking a little off because, Kuwabara is a natural and ugly human being, no disrespect to him. And they got this pretty boy to play him, but this guy got Kuwabara down to the bone. His goofiness, his demeanor, his reactions to everything. The voice wasn't there, but it's Japanese. Starting to sound like a gorilla like he does in the English version. But Kuwabara was selling that show. And I think most of the characters did a pretty good job. Even the bad guys. Toguro did a pretty good job. Other Toguro as well. Sakio. And that other guy, I forget his name. Let me look him up. Yeah, Takohane, that's his name. They got the perfect person to play him. I was just, that was hilarious. But yeah, when it comes to the characters, they did a pretty good job with that. The CGI and the fighting was pretty good as well. I was very surprised with how the fighting was, because most live action anime adaptations don't really do a good job with the fighting scenes. It can come off looking very corny. It can come off looking very, very fake and very uninspiring. But YuYu Hakusho did a pretty good job with it. I do feel like some scenes, especially the ones in the darker scenes, played it off better because you're not showing as much as you would if the scene is well lit. But when Yusuke fought Guki, I think that they did a pretty good CGI, pretty good fighting for that, and I gotta give them credit where it's due. When it comes to the actual show, I think YuYu Hakusho live action does a pretty good job with it being a show on its own. I think it's the fact that it's YuYu Hakusho that's an issue, and I'm gonna get to that in a second. But for the most part, when it comes to The fighting was pretty good. The CGI was pretty good as well. The story was pretty engaging. And, you know, we really got to see how the characters will be in live action. And I think a lot of it comes from the fact that, you know, we watched the show when we were younger, or we've watched the show prior, and, you know, we're excited to see them in the real world. Now we have to get into the bad, unfortunately. And with any anime live action adaptation that Netflix provides, the pacing is always going to be bad. I've seen it with the Tekken anime. I've seen it with Yasuke. Netflix has this thing where if they have any sort of new show, but it's a cool idea, maybe like an idea that we might like, this circle might like, they'll give that show maybe 6 to 10 episodes. And depending on how this show does in 6 to 10 episodes, they'll renew it for a second season. And then maybe that second season might get, you know, either 6 episodes, or depending on how good it does, maybe full on 24 episodes. Who knows? But that's the thing with Netflix in general. It's gonna be a thing forever with Netflix. There's no way of fixing it, just because that's how they are. They're always gonna be just looking for the newest thing to do because they are a growing company. They want to keep on growing, and that's unfortunately YuYu Hakusho, the live action, was one of the victims of this. When it comes to the pacing, this has probably been like one of the worst I've ever seen in live action adaptation history. It has to be, because YuYu Hakusho, the live action, is only 5 episodes. Each episode, I would say, is a little bit less than an hour. So realistically, you're only really getting 5 hours worth of content for the whole series. Mind you, we have no renewal for second season. Although the numbers do say that YuYu Hakusho did pretty good, we don't know if we're getting a second season yet. And because of it's only 5 episodes that are an hour per episode, that's not enough time to squeeze as much as you want to squeeze, as much as you want to bring into the fan base. You know, there's so much that happens in the first couple of episodes where of the anime where you can possibly find a way of condensing all of it into 5 episodes. Because you want to make sure you have an eye catcher, a reason for somebody to watch this, you want to make sure you have the coolest bad guys in there, you want to make sure you have the strongest fights in there. If you can't do that, then how are you going to get the eyes of people? And unfortunately, YuYu Hakusho suffered from that. So many things were cut off or completely mistranslated in the live action as well. And when I say mistranslated, I mean it didn't impact you as much as it would with the same emotion when you watched the anime. An example being Genkai's death. Genkai was in literally 1 episode, and then she dies out the 3rd episode. And when Toguro tells Yusuke while they're fighting that she's dead, it's like basically it's like he like realized that she's dead. He's angry for a little bit, but that's about it. Whereas in the anime, when Yusuke is informed that Genkai is dead, there's so much emotion with the music and everything like that. His world is basically changing because, you know, somebody that he looked up to, Genkai, that's basically another mother figure for him, is just dead. She's just gone. You know, something else that happens, Toguro's coming back. Toguro dies twice basically in the anime. He loses the first fight, and then the second fight he loses again, and then he actually dies. But in this adaptation, there's no dark tournament, so he actually ends up dying in the dark tournament. But there's no dark tournament in this because they squeezed like 50 episodes into, I guess, 5 live action episodes. The dark tournament, the build for the dark tournament was so cut off. Toguro coming back would have been, his death would have hit more for the viewer if he died initially, or had he been more so viewed as a more evil person. Whereas in this, he just felt forced in the story. I don't know. The Genkai's tournament, even actually, if you didn't watch the anime, there's a whole tournament prior to Yusuke and Kuwabara meeting Genkai, where a bunch of fighters go to Genkai's, you know, a dojo, and they all fight each other to see who's the strongest. Then the strongest people obviously go train with Genkai. That's when Yusuke meets Rando and all these other people, and that's completely cut off the story. Yusuke and Kuwabara in the live action just go in there and meet her like she's not doing anything, which is, I don't know, I guess it makes sense to cut it off, but at the same time, it's like, you know, that's part of the story build. I feel like that could have been put in there as well. Like I said before, also the dark tournament is basically gone. It's literally Team Urameshi versus Team Toguro, and it just doesn't look lit. It doesn't look fun because, you know, the bad guys that Toguro has with him, we don't really know who they are, because we don't really know how strong they are, because the first time we're seeing them fight is in, you know, in the final encounter. Yo, Toguro, actually, he also looked crazy. I ain't even gonna front. He looked crazy, especially when he transformed. Look, I know he's not really the prettiest person to look at, but nah, man, he looks insane in their live action. The live action also fails to really build on that world building and that character building that they had in the first episode. I think the first episode did a pretty good job laying the foundation for who the characters are and how they operate. But after that, we don't really see it as much. We don't really see the characters interact with each other as much. It's really just, oh, this is our task, now we have to fight. Whereas in the anime, you saw that a lot, especially because it is an anime with 4 people, a group of people. So you gotta make sure, you know, that's in touch. I've seen better character development in Squid Game, the live action, honestly. And Squid Game is a reality TV show, so like, you know, you have the privilege of actually being able to write the characters. We just didn't see it as much in the live action, and it's very disappointing, but at the end of the day, you gotta blame it on pacing because we only have 5 episodes to do so much. At the end of the day, for what it is, it's pretty decent. Like I said before, I think it's mid, and I think it's a good mid, not a mid, like a good mid. Like a, if I had to give it a rating, I'd give this show a 6. If I wasn't a fan of Yu Yu Hakusho, if I was just somebody watching it blindly the same way I watch One Piece, I would probably give the show like a 6.5 or a 7. But because I've seen the show countless times, I can only give it a 6 because the pacing honestly destroyed it. If this show had 7 more episodes to just get everything right, I think it would have been way better. I'm not saying have 50 episodes. I think like a 12 episode season would have been okay. You can't do much with 5 episodes, be real. You can't really do much with 5 episodes. Would I watch the second season instead of drops? From looking at it, it looks like it's gonna be a second season coming soon. I think numbers wise is doing really good. Not One Piece good, but like I think close to halfway as good as One Piece when it comes to viewership. Talking about One Piece, I love them. One Piece is getting an anime remake, and the show's not even over yet. I love for them to do something like that to Yu Yu Hakusho. I love it, honestly. If any show deserves a remake of Yu Yu Hakusho, because there's so many things in the manga that could have been a little bit better adapted to the show. So many things that could have done better. Honestly, I wouldn't mind it. Even if it's like 4 episodes a year. Like, give me like an anime adaptation, like an anime remake would be fire. Would be fire for Yu Yu Hakusho. Like a Hunter x Hunter treatment. I would love for that. And yeah, that's basically it, honestly. Nothing really too crazy about the show. I thought it was pretty decent, but you know, nothing that's gonna be like, wow, this is crazy. For anyone that is a first timer, if you're watching this review, what are your thoughts on the anime? Or on the live action, I'm sorry. And I really recommend you watching the anime because a lot of the questions that you may have will be answered in the anime. And how did you feel watching it as a first timer watching Yu Yu Hakusho? Whereas, also, if you're neutral, I feel like you'd see it as it was squeezed as well. So, I think that as well. I feel like a lot of neutrals thought that the show was squeezing a lot into 5 episodes, and that's all to Netflix, honestly. For my first timers, did you enjoy it? Please watch the original. I'm gonna probably watch the original as well. Watching the Yu Yu Hakusho live action made me want to watch the original, so I'm gonna do that as well. If for anyone that's a fan of the anime, let me know in the comments your thoughts on this live action adaptation. How did you like it? And would you want to watch the second season and anything like that? Alright, that's basically it. Thanks for watching, guys. My name is That Guy Brian. Try to upload content like a couple times a week. We are streaming tonight on Twitch, so please make sure you check that out. And I'll see y'all on the flip side. Love you. Peace.